How reassured are you that the Prime Minister there said that the SPS, the phytosanitary product red line, is still in place, i.e. no chlorinated chicken?
Look, we are relieved about that. It was only 6 weeks ago, maybe, that we were discussing this, Tom, and the importance of not crossing those red lines around animal health and welfare standards that we're so proud to produce to here in this country. What we're hearing, though, is two very different stories. You've got President Trump saying one thing about opening access for basically all agricultural products, whereas we've had a briefing here, and what we're hearing and understanding is that it's bioethanol and that it's a limited quota of beef. Now, we've also got reciprocal access back to the US market for that beef production, which is something we've been pushing for several years, is to have a preferential access to that US market. And so at the moment, it feels relatively balanced. The problem is we've still got 10% tariffs in place on all of our food exports to the US. And agriculture cannot afford to burden any more responsibility when it comes to trying to further negotiate down those tariffs that still exist.
Am I right in saying that the UK applies tariffs to US beef, the high quality stuff coming into the UK? Is about 12%?
Well, I think we've now given a quota where those tariffs won't be applied.
Right.
So I think that is what this deal is about, is 13,000 tons of US beef as we understand it. But as I say, we've been very much pushing that we must have reciprocal access back. And look, we welcome the fact it's not easy getting access to the US market. So the fact that we've got reciprocal access back for the same quantity is something that we have been asking for. So at the moment, it feels balanced. The impact on bioethanol is one that we really need to look at the detail of, because we do manufacture bioethanol here. Our members' crops go into producing that bioethanol. And obviously, if that market is no longer viable because of those US imports, then that could have an impact on the demand for agricultural products.
But this is essentially then, this is a bit of a win for you, for farmers in this country, because you're going to get more access to the US market in terms of beef, the same access that the US has here, and the tariffs that were going to be applied, unfortunately, still are going to be applied, subject to further negotiation.
Look, I don't think it's a win, because I think that what we have is the same access back on the beef market. They've got access to our bioethanol market. But I think given the impact of those wider tariffs across the economy, we understand that there has to be some give and take. And it feels like there has been. It feels like Steve Reed and DEFRA have fought a hard case here to make sure that we're not carrying any more burden. But we've still got these 10% tariffs, and our food exporters, those that are exporting milk powder or over to the US, will still face those 10% tariffs. Now, what is it going to take to remove those tariffs? And that is the question we're asking ourselves, because at the moment, as I think Lord Manderson said, this is the beginning of the end. The end of the beginning, rather than So there's still more to come, and we just cannot take any more burden within this negotiation to further negotiate those tariffs.
Well, let's hope it's not the beginning of the end.